Okay, good morning, children. Hello, can you hear me? Hello, okay. So, I hope you can hear me, right? So, I just want to say a few words first about online class, right? So, I hope you all are enjoying your online class, right? Or I can say, I hope you're enjoying your holidays also, isn't it? Isn't it? So, actually, I just wanted to discuss with you whether what do you think is online class, is it really necessary? What do you think, children? Do you think online class is really necessary for you to attend, or is it just an online class? What do you think? Um, Anyway, children, I can't hear you right now, but anyway, I just wanted to say a few words. Let me give you some example, right? In science, you have learned about food, isn't it? And what we say, like you can say, like if you don't eat food for a week, for a month, then we will be weak, right? We will not have energy to do any activities, right? And after a month, still, if you don't take food, then slowly, slowly we will die. That is the ultimate truth if you don't eat food, isn't it? So in the same way, like online class, take your online class just like food, right? Online class is very important because if you don't have online class, like how food is important to you all to survive, knowledge is equally important for all of us to survive. Knowledge is just like food because without knowledge, just like without food we cannot survive, in the same way without knowledge also we cannot survive. It's really important for our survival. Now you must be thinking how. You must be thinking how knowledge is so important, isn't it? Now why knowledge is important? Like children, you all must have some ambition, some aim, some goal in your life. Like some of your ambition must be like you wanted to be a doctor, you wanted to be an engineer, isn't it? Isn't it? But without getting the knowledge, you cannot be a doctor. You won't be able to become an engineer, isn't it? What do you think? What do you think? Isn't it? So without knowledge, you cannot fulfill your dream, and without knowledge, we cannot survive. So right now, you all know the situation, what is the world going through. And what I can see is education is so important, but the children, it's so difficult for you to get, like we cannot take it face to face, right? So we are giving you the knowledge through online. So what I want to say is online class is not just a class. It's really important. You have to take it very seriously because like last year, the whole year you stayed at home. Till now, you are staying at home. And how are you getting your knowledge through online? And this knowledge will help you to fulfill your dream, to fulfill your goal. And you must have the knowledge to attain your ambition, to fulfill your ambition. And that knowledge you are getting through online class. So right now in this situation, online class is the only way for you to get your knowledge, and online class is the only way to fulfill your dream, to achieve your dream. Okay, so you cannot just go without getting the knowledge of class 5, you cannot just go to class 6, because if you go like that, then you cannot compete in future, because after all the ultimate truth is you have to uh, you have to sit for the competitive exams and all. You have to sit for the competition, okay, to fulfill your dream. And to do that, you must have a knowledge. So that's why you must have the knowledge according to your age, according to your standard, okay. So because of that, attained the online knowledge. don't, online class, don't neglect it, don't avoid it. It's very important. This is the only way through which you are getting knowledge, and this is the only way to fulfill your dream. All right, because I can't hear any one of you. I don't know whether you're listening to me or not, but anyway, this is what I just want to tell you. Please attend the class, online class also. Okay, so now children, today in science we have finished the chapter of pollination, right? So in my previous class, I gave you some exercises to do, like all the objective type, one word answer. Now those exercises today in this class, I will be discussing with you. All those exercises, part 1 on page 52 and 53, I will be discussing with you the answers. Then later on, you will do that in your copy. Or if you have a textbook, you can do this exercise, one word answer in your textbook only. Okay, so now the chapter is pollination, right? So if you have a book, you can look at page 52. The first question is to choose the correct answer. You need to choose the correct answer. The options are also given there, right? So number 1 is pollination is, and you can see the 4 options out there. And number A is the transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma. Or number B is germination of pollen grains. Number C, growth of the pollen tube in the ovule and visit of insects to a flower. So what do you think is the answer? If you see the definition of pollination, what is pollination? It is the process where, pollination is the process where, now you can see the anther out here, where the pollen, this anther, it contains the pollen grains. So pollination is the process where the pollen grains from the anther are transferred to stigma. This process is called pollination, right? So the answer for number 1 is the transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma. Okay, right? Then number 2, self-pollination means. Now what do you mean by self-pollination? What we have discussed in the previous class, there are 2 types of pollination. One is cross-pollination and the other one is self-pollination. Now what happens in self-pollination? Self-pollination, it is the transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma in the same flower or another flower of the same plant. So here, number 2, the correct option is transfer of pollens from the anther to the stigma of the flower of the same plant. Alright? Then number 3, what do you call the male part of the flower? Now, you have learned the parts of a flower, right? There are 4 parts of a flower. They are calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynoecium. Now, which one is the male part? Androecium is the male part, and each member is called stamen. So you can see it out here, stamen. This is the male part, and it has 2 parts. One is anther, and the other one is filament. So here in number 3, what do you call the male part of the flower? And the right option is stamen. Okay, stamen, it is the yes, male part of the flower. All right. Then number 4, what is the female part of a flower called? Now again, which is the female part of a flower? It is the gynoecium. And each member is called what? Carpel or pistil. So you can see the female part out here. Carpel, right? Carpel, which helps in reproduction. So it is the female part of a flower, and so you can see the right option. It is also called carpel or it is also called pistil, right? So the female part of a flower is called pistil, the correct option. Then number 5, Examples of plants having both male and female parts are dash and dash. Now you have to choose the examples of the flower which contains both male and female part. Now you have learned there are two types of plant, uh, types of flower. One is bisexual and the other one is unisexual flower. Okay, so what is bisexual flower? Bisexual flower is a flower which contains both male and the female part. So here you need to write the name of bisexual flower. Examples of bisexual flower which contains both male and the female part. And they are tulip and hibiscus is the correct option. Okay, then let's go to fill in the blanks. Number one, after fertilization, the dash becomes a fruit and the dash becomes a seed. Now, you know, after the process of fertilization, which part of a flower will convert into a fruit and which part will convert into a seed, because you know pollination and fertilization, these are the steps of the formation of seed and formation of flower, and which is very important to to create a new plant. So here, after fertilization which is the second part of reproduction, so after fertilization, now this one is ovary. So this ovary will change into, we can say, fruit. Okay. Then the ovules, they will change into seed. All right. Then number two, cross pollination takes place in all dash plants. Now you know what is cross pollination. Again, it is the process of transferring of pollen grains from anther to stigma of another flower on another plant. That is cross pollination. So cross pollination takes place in from one plant to the other plant, which means if the plant is either male plant only or the plant will be either female only. In those cases, the cross pollination takes place. So what do you call that type of plant which has either male or female part only? That is unisexual. So number two, cross pollination takes place in all unisexual plants. Okay. Then number three, dash is an example of unisexual flower. You can write the example of unisexual flower. Papaya, cucumber. Alright, anyone. Then number four, dash is an example of bisexual flower. Example is, the most common example of bisexual flower is hibiscus. Alright. Then number five, pollen grains are present inside the dash. Now where do you think the pollen grains are present? Pollen grains are present inside the anther. Alright. Then comes true or false. Number one, fertilization is the fusion of anther and stigma. Now it's incorrect. It is false because pollination is the fusion of anther and stigma. Fertilization is the second step of reproduction. Alright, so it is false. Then number two, cross pollination always occurs in unisexual flowers. That is right. Then number three, pollination is the first step of seed formation. That is also correct. Then number four, gametes are present in the ovules. So ovules means, let's look at the board like this is ovule. So gametes means the female gametes or female eggs are present in the ovules. That is also correct. Then ovules are present inside the ovary. Now you can see these are ovules. These are ovules. Ovules. They are present inside the ovary. That is also correct. Then comes name the following. Number one, it is the second hole of a flower. Now you have learned there are four parts of a flower: calyx, corolla, and raceme and gynecium. So which one is the second hole? It is the corolla. Then number two, corolla means you can see here. These are corolla, or they are also called petals. These are the second hole of love. Right. Then number two, It is a ring of brightly colored leaf-like structures. Brightly colored leaf-like structures means if these are brightly colored leaf-like structures, which are the colored one out here. This one is petals. Alright. Then comes, it produces scent to attract insects. Now, out of the four parts of a flower, which part plays an important role to attract the insects for pollination? Or which part of a flower has a pleasant smell or fragrance? That one is again petals. Okay. Then number four, it is the male reproductive part of a plant. So which one is the male reproductive part of a plant? That one is again stamen. All right. Then the last one, the swollen base of a pistil. Swollen base of a pistil. That is ovary. It is the swollen base of a pistil is ovary. So these are the exercises. This is part one, which you have to do in your textbook, all on one word answer. All right, children. So I hope you have understood the chapter. So in my next class, I will be doing the chapter of fertilization, which I will get you know through the WhatsApp group. And I hope you have understood the chapter, and I hope you have understood the importance of online class. The only way through which you will be getting your knowledge to fulfill your aim or dream. All right. So please take it seriously. So thank you, children.